Hello everybody, this is Danny from Deep South Homestead on Porch Time again today. Yes, it is going into the middle of the end of March, and we are in the middle of growing season, and we are getting tons done here. And I trust that a lot of y'all are doing exactly the same thing, getting ready to get our vegetables going and just being excited about that. So we're staying busy, and I hope you all are too. But today on Porch Time, I'll kind of want to talk about reaching people where they are. Because, here a few weeks ago we had our gathering, and that's what that was about helping to reach people where they were at and being able to, just kind of say, hey, we hear you. And we know what you got going on, and we know what's, we watch you, and we love you, and we want to be a part of you. And that's kind of what the gathering was a little bit about. So we still are thinking along those same lines, guys. Now, it's one of those things that we care. And because we care, we want to reach out to as many people as we can. And we're reaching out by coming into your home via the internet, through YouTube, through Deep South Homestead, through Porch Time. People are trying to do as much homesteading as they can. They're trying to grow as many of their vegetables as they can, and there seems to be that people want to get their feathers all ruffled up because somebody does it a little bit different than they do. And I prove this every so often because I'll put up a segment about Back to Eden and I'll give my opinion on it. And oh my gosh, it's like stepping in a hornet's nest. People's like, oh, you just don't understand, or you haven't done it long enough, or you didn't do it right. And people get their feathers all ruffled up. And that's never my intention. But my intention is to draw out and see where people stand on these situations. Guys, let's just be honest, okay? Let's just sit here and talk about this. I could care less about Back to Eden, okay? I'm just being honest. I think it's a waste of time. I do believe that there's times that it could be implemented if you live in a specific area. And I do think that if you don't have anything, very big area, and that's what you want to do, that's perfectly fine. And I do not have a problem with it. But guys, let me say this. That's why our forefathers invented tractors, because they did everything by hand and it just was too labor intensive. So mankind invented the tractor. And then there's all these people who talk about how hard it is to garden where they're at and to do this and to do that, and they gotta build the soil, they gotta do this, they gotta do that. And the bottom line is this, my friend. Our forefathers moved and hunted land that had good soil. That's the bottom line. It was one of those things where when you become a homesteader back in the day, let's say, you didn't run around and say, oh, here's a mountaintop. I'm going to try to homestead on this mountaintop and all these boulders and stuff up here and see if I can make this work. No. They looked for a flat, level, fertile piece of ground, preferably next to a spring or something if they could find it. The Native Americans did the same exact things. All of our forefathers done that kind of stuff, and it was because they understood that you need good soil to be able to grow things. Now, they didn't sit back and try to say, I'm going to create soil. They literally hunted good pieces of ground. And I'm not ignorant. I do understand that in the world we live in today, that that not everybody can do that because there's too many people. Oh my gosh, imagine that we have too many people on the face of the earth to be able to do that. That's a sobering thought, isn't it? Our forefathers didn't have to go through that. There was plenty of land for everybody. That's why they looked for good land. Now, if where you live at doesn't have any good soil and you need to make some soil, that's perfectly fine. Make yourself a raised bed and put yourself some soil in it and create some soil and raise you some stuff in it. That's wisdom. The thing about it is today, guys, we live in a society today that that just doesn't get it. You know, our society today is becoming exceedingly wicked. It's one of these kind of societies that if you don't think like I think, then something is wrong with you. And if you ever go and look at the new ICD-10 codes in the ICD-10 code book, you will see that there are codes in there for people who don't comply. They're classified as being mentally ill. So, we see that the government has even set into motion some things to cover those who don't comply. Go figure. Homesteaders that don't comply. Oh my word, who would have ever thought such a thing could have happened in this country? Well, it's happening, guys, because let me tell you something. The world we live in today, people cannot discern between right and wrong. I think that's actually scriptural. I think the scriptures, if I'm not mistaken, actually teaches in the latter times, the end of an age, that there will come a point that mankind won't know right from wrong. Maybe we're there. I mean, look around. They call right wrong, and they call things that are wrong right, so I would almost bet we're there. Now, what caused that to happen? Have you ever stopped to really think about that? What caused that to happen is the inability of mankind to process things. That inability has come through the lack of, what should the word should I use here? How about discipline? Yeah, the lack of discipline. Instant gratification. How about that? Not delayed gratification. Wanting everything that mom and dad has and wanting it right away. Or everything grandma and grandpa has. Oh, I want that, but I want it now. And I can have it now. Because I have a credit card. I have credit. So I can have it. Right? Why can't I? Isn't it amazing how our way of thinking changed? Our parents and our grandparents worked and saved to have something. But in the world we live in today, it doesn't work like that. If we want something, we flick out a piece of plastic card, we run up there and stick it in that machine, and it says, oh, you can have it. You just owe me later. And as a result, we end up with all these things, and we end up deep in debt. And it seems like the Bible has something to say about being in debt. I think it says, no man can serve two masters. He will either love the one and hate the other. The Bible has more to say about money than it does about salvation. Because God knew it was going to be a big time issue. Yep. Guys, you see, there's a lot going on around us that kind of an unusual thing happening here. It's kind of one of those things that God knew it was going to happen. And He warned us about it in scriptures. But the funny thing is, the day prayer was taken out of school and the Bible was taken away, then mankind was left to himself, and when he was left to himself, he became wicked. He can't think for himself anymore. There's a way in the man that seems right, but the end thereof is wicked. Man's heart is wicked above all things. Aren't these all quotes from a little black book called the Bible? Yeah, they are. The funny thing about it is, it's the truth. How about that? So guys, stop for just a moment and look at the age we live in. Look around you. Are people as courteous as they used to be? Remember used to when you rode down an old gravel road, going to the country, or even going to town? You passed somebody. Everybody was like this. Hey! Everybody waved. When's the last time you seen somebody wave? They don't do it anymore. You know why? Probably because they got a stupid cell phone in their hands texting. That's one reason. But secondly, let's just be honest. They don't really care about you. They don't care about their neighbor. They don't care about anything but what they're doing at that moment. Because we live in a me generation. A generation that wants instant gratification. A generation that's all about legality. A generation that's all about signing documents and signing contracts and credit and all these kind of things. Things that get you in trouble. Breaks your trust with your fellow man. Because you see, when I was growing up, really all you needed was a handshake. Your word was your bond. Now people put their name on a dotted line, it still ain't no good. You got to get a lawyer to make it right. You got to be drugged through court. You got to spend all this money just to be able to make a man honor his word. Isn't that sad? Not only man, major corporations. They grant you things, and then they give you warranties, they do all these things, and then they don't even uphold them. It's all just a game, guys. The day and age in which we live in, everything's just a game. It's all about the almighty dollar. That's why we do YouTube. Because here on YouTube, I want to reach out to you where you're at. Because, guys, let me tell you something. And I'm going to get in a little closer here. Let's get personal about this. The bottom line is this. You better get what you're going to get. You better get it now. You better get it fast. Now don't go get yourself in debt. Use a little wisdom. Your time's running out. You better get some knowledge. You better get some books. You better get it up here. Because let me tell you something. There's coming a day when YouTube is going away. The internet is going to go away one day. When the powers to be have had enough of people like me online telling people like you how we do things to make you more self-sustainable, then they're going to say enough is enough and take it away. You see, in the world we live in today, people's minds are being altered to think a particular way. They're trying to change man's ability to take care of himself and to make him think that he can't take care of himself, that he needs someone else to do it for him. So the bottom line is this, guys. Learn to think for yourself. Store stuff up mentally and begin preparing to take care of yourself, because we're right on the verge of something massive happening in this country. And when it does, don't be fooled by all these people who say, oh, got all these guns and ammunition and stuff like that, saying we're going to fight our way out of this or that. And it's all right to have a weapon in case looters come in or something like that. But guys, there's actually a process that's going to take place, and it's going to go over. It's not going to happen instantly. It's going to be a process, but there's going to be one major event take place that will lead up to the end of life as we know it. And I think I'm going to stop there on Porch Time today, guys. I think I'm going to give you just a little bit of food for thought, something to think about. I do appreciate you. I do pray for a lot of you, because a lot of you's on my mind on a regular basis once I get to know you. And I hope and pray that you'll be able to advance your homestead as quickly as possible so that you can get where you need to be as quick as you can on your homestead and be more sustainable than what you are, because your time is running short. Things are beginning to start escalating. And I said this to say, I said something in one of my last porch times about Stephen Hawkins. When Stephen Hawkins died, the ball was fixing to start rolling. Even though I didn't endorse the man or anything he did, the man held back a lot of things from happening. And now that he's no longer there as a voice of reason, expect things to snowball and to head in a direction that is not a direction we want to be going in real quick. Now, I'm not saying he was a god or he was a miracle worker or nothing by any chance like that. But the man was a voice of reason in a lot of ways. So prepare yourself for upcoming events. Prepare yourself for things that's about to happen. Prepare yourself mentally. Because guys, the worst battle you're going to fight when something happens is going to be your own self. When you prepare for the unknown. You can run a scenario over in your head as many times as you want as to what you think will happen. And it will probably never come to fruition. The greatest battle you're going to fight is going to be your own self. So be prepared for that. I know porch time today has not been an encouraging one. It's been a thought-provoking one, I hope. So thank you from Deep South Homestead.